Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. And from the title, you will notice that today's video is going to be for parents and adults in general. I hope you will watch until the very end, and individuals who are in the disability community and using a wheelchair, hang tight because I have something for you at the end here. Before we get started, if you are new to my channel, my name is Roy. I'm an individual that just happens to have spastic diplegia cerebral palsy. The purpose of my videos are to help educate and inspire individuals to become their own self-advocates. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. There are four major things that I want to educate every parent and really every adult on when it comes to interacting with individuals who are in a wheelchair and primarily out in the community. The first thing I'll talk about is when I'm out in the community sitting in a checkout line or rolling around the store shopping for my groceries. I'll hear a child ask their parent or guardian, whoever they are, I'll hear a child say, "Why is he in a wheelchair? What's wrong with his legs?" Now, I'm not mad at all at the child because they're trying to figure out, hey, what is this thing? What really gets to me though is when the adult with them says, "Shh, we don't talk to people like him," or "get away from him," or whatever the snarky response is that adults give. I've heard a number of them, and some of them are not very nice. That is not what we should be teaching our children today. We need to educate our children what the wheelchair is. We need to educate our children that the wheelchair does not define who that person is. The wheelchair, however, is how that person has to get around. Now, how you explain this to a child depends on their age level. And I would much rather a parent say, "I'm not sure, but let's go over and ask him." I and many others in the disability community, I assure you, we would be more than happy to answer questions that your child may have. I've answered this question for young children. I've answered it for adults. We're not afraid. We don't bite. We're not contagious. So please, stop telling your children to avoid us and instead teach them to come ask questions. We will help with this. To add on to that, I've also been known to, especially if I'm standing in a checkout line and I hear a child ask what's wrong and the parent, shoo them off, so to speak, I've been known to turn around and politely ask, of course, if I may help educate you and your child as to why I'm in a wheelchair. So if you see me out and about, don't be surprised if I do that, or another disabled person who's in a wheelchair, if they do that. So just to kind of put that out there. The second thing I want to talk about is when I'm out in the community with a friend or family member and a random stranger walks up and asks that said friend or family member, "What agency are you with?" Well, that tells me one thing. It tells me a few things, but primarily that tells me that you're assuming that anytime someone is in a wheelchair and someone is with them, that it's their caregiver. Well, we need to stop assuming, because myself and many others in the disability community and folks that use wheelchairs, we do not have caregivers. Some do, but a lot of us do not. And we are with just that, friends and family. And it's really sad that you would just assume that someone always has a caregiver. So please, I would almost rather you didn't ask and just move on. It's really, honestly, there's no reason to just walk up to somebody and say, what agency or staffing company are you with? There's just no reason for it. The third thing I'll mention here is when adults kneel down to talk to individuals in a wheelchair. It's not very respectful. You're treating them almost like a child. I'm not sure if it's because you're trying to get down on our level or what the reason is behind it, but unless an individual is asking you to come down to their level, you can stay standing, or just like you would talk to your friends. As a general rule, are you going to kneel down on the ground to talk to your friends that are able-bodied? Probably not. So there's no need to do it for us unless we ask you to. We're not children. And the fourth thing I'll talk about is more geared towards restaurant waiters, waitresses, and management staff. A good portion of the time that I go into a restaurant to eat and I'm with a friend, for some reason, waitresses and waiters find it more important to speak to the person that I'm with before, instead of talking to me when it comes to asking what I want to drink or what I plan to order. It's like, what does he want to eat or drink? Instead of saying, hey, what would you like to eat or drink? Hello, we have a voice. We're over here. And, if we need help ordering, we'll let you know, or, we'll ask our friend or whoever we're with, we'll ask them. But you shouldn't assume that just because we're in a wheelchair or whatever the case may be, that we can't order our own food. So, restaurant management, I would encourage you to educate your waiters and your waitresses on this. Again, as I mentioned previously in the video, the wheelchair is how we get around. It's not who we are, and it doesn't mean that we can't do things for ourselves. The last thing I'll talk about is for folks who are in a wheelchair and may be experiencing some of the things that I listed in this video. Remember, it's okay to speak up for anything. When you feel like you're being mistreated or not getting the things that you need or whatever the case may be, it's okay for you to speak up. You don't need to sit there in silence. I know when I was younger, I used to be that person that would just let things roll like that and not worry about it. But as I've gotten older, I've realized our society is really undereducated when it comes to interacting with individuals who are disabled and in a wheelchair. So my challenge to you is to self-advocate and stand up for yourself. And if you need help, ask for it. There's nothing wrong with it. And so that's my challenge for you. I hope that you found this video helpful. It was not meant to be offensive or rude in any way, but it was meant to be blunt, straightforward, and educational. I invite you to like, subscribe, follow, so that you can be notified whenever new content is uploaded. Until next time, take care, stay healthy, and God bless.